Hey everybody, and welcome back to It's Only Food with Chef John Politte. Today we are making spicy black bean burgers. You're not going to want to miss this one. Well, welcome back to It's Only Food with Chef John Politte. If this is your first time joining us, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button right there in the corner, and then hit that notification bell to be notified each and every time I upload new content. All right, like I said, we're going to be making a spicy black bean burger, so let's head into the kitchen and see what our ingredients are before we start the prep work. We have got, of course, black beans. I'm going to use about a 15-ounce can, can of green chilies diced, some cornmeal, 1 egg, 1 lime, some corn, frozen corn I've got there, and of course a bun with which to lie it upon. We're going to be using my chili seasoning and dry smoke rub, which you will be able to find on my website or my Etsy shop. I will leave that in the description box below, and also a card up above to the website. So let's head into the kitchen, start our prep, and get it done before we start cooking up these fantastic burgers. All right, so the first thing we're going to add, of course, is our black beans. I drained these in a sieve and rinsed them off really good so you don't have all that brine and everything on there. And then I'm going to add the corn. I have also microwaved this and then squeezed as much juice out of as I could because you don't want it messing up the recipe any with its liquid. And then of course the jalapenos I have not drained. I'm leaving those in their liquid because we want that flavor to go right into the mix. I'm just going to mix this up a little bit, and then we're going to add our egg right in there. And of course, the Chef Politte's seasoning. And I just want to break this up, and I'm going to mix all this up too. And little by little, I'm going to add this cornmeal. As a binder. A little more. It's about a cup. Next then, we want to just squeeze all of this together. Now I'm going to let this sit for a minute, and then I'm going to add a little flour to it. I need to add the flour just to make it as a binding, because I want it to be a little stickier than it is. I'm not really following a recipe. I'm kind of a conglomeration of all the recipes that I've seen in the research for this dish, but I'm adding flour to it to make it all stick together because I don't think the cornmeal's doing quite that much. All right, this is thickened up nicely. It'll stick together now and form patties. I'm going to glove up, wipe the counter off, and we'll come back and make some patties up before we fry them. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dust this down, kind of like you do for pizza. I'm going to throw a little cornmeal on my cutting board because these are sticky little guys. You see what I got there? I got the mix. Your yield is going to depend on what you want to do with these. You can make sliders, you can make burgers, and you can make croquettes, whatever you want to do. So basically what I'm going to do, now these don't shrink like meat either, so I'm going to make that about the size of the bun that we're going to do it on. So there's that. You can do a little slider one, or you can do little croquette balls for an appetizer. Whatever you want to do, depending on your recipe that you're using, your yield will depend on what you're going to use and what kind of application you want to do with these. All right, well, here's what we've done. I've got little guys right here, little like cookie dough size. That is going to be if you want to use them for like a croquette for an appetizer. We've got a smaller one that we did that we can use for like a slider bun for the kids. And then of course the bigger one we've got here that we're going to do for our hamburger bun and show you on later when we plate this up with some lovely mayonnaise that I'm going to make up that's going to go on top of it. You can fry these in the pan. You can deep fry them all the way in oil. You can put them on a cookie sheet and go ahead and bake them too, just to make sure they get up to the proper temperature, because there is egg in there. I'm going to fry this in just a little bit of oil just because I like the color crust on there, and also for a little bit of bite and crunch when we go to take a bite out of it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to head over to the top of the stove here where our pan is and start cooking these babies up. Get our pan hot. I'm of course cooking in a little olive oil. Now the secret is to make sure they just cook. Let them cook. Don't be flipping them around. You want to make sure that that egg and the cornmeal and the flour get to bind. The heat will make it bind even more. And then you'll have a nice color crust under there. We'll flip them over, let them cook about the same amount of time on that side before we plate it up. It's important that you have the bubbles around. That way you know that you're cooking it at the proper temperature. You're not undercooking it, and it's not just going to be a gelatinous mass of goop. You just want to remember that this is not meat. You don't have to worry about killing the E. coli by getting it up to 165 in an internal temperature, but you do want to make sure that you cook that egg. Anytime you cook an egg inside of a dish, it's got to be up to 160 for at least 15 seconds. So let's make sure that that is done by making sure that it's cooked on both sides. Then I'm going to temp it out with my thermometer to make sure. But there's a beautiful color crust there. That looks pretty good. That's going to have a nice bite to it. Okay, they're nice and crispy on both sides, as we see here. I am going to pull these off. No need to let them rest. And then we'll take the internal temperature to see if it is cooked all the way. Alright, we're at 162, and it's not going down, it's still going up a little bit. So this is cooked, good to go. I'm going to go ahead and grill that bun real quick. Alright, so when the buns are done being grilled, I am going to plate it up. We're going to take a lot of pictures of it for social media. We're going to lay it on the timeline with some really groovy music, and then we're going to be back to taste it and say goodbye. So don't go anywhere. I'm going to give it a try. I've already got the sauce on there. There is some on the side right there, but I got it on there. So here we go. Me taking a bite. There's your burger right there. A little sauce on there. It's still steaming. All right, going in for the bite. Sorry, took a minute to chew that bite. Didn't want to gross you out on film. Fantastic flavor. A little bit of bite to it. You can taste the sweetness of that corn. It's got that crunch from frying it in the pan. Fantastic burger. I just put a little mayonnaise with some hot sauce, mixed it up together with a little more of my chili seasoning and dry smoke rub. But that's really good. That's good. I'm not one for a lot of stuff on my burger when I eat a hamburger or a burger like this. I don't need all the extra layers and textures and flavor profiles. I want to taste what the burger's all about. So that's what I did. There could be a lot of different toppings for this hamburger, but I did not choose to do that. But feel free to add them as you like. Well, thanks a lot for joining us today on It's Only Food with Chef John Politte. We made a delicious black bean burger. I hope you try it out. Thanks a lot for joining us today. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. Like the video. Make sure you leave a comment below. Just stop in and say hi, and then share this video and this channel with everyone you know. Thanks a lot for joining us. I'm going to eat some more of this burger. Bye-bye.